Welcome to Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. I'm your host, Dave West, codename Phantom Troublemaker.
And I am your co-host, Noel Wood, codename the discombobulated one right now.
And I'm your Cobra intern, who will never let him fall. Because I don't know how Serpentor does it. Making love out of nothing at all. Codename Legion Cub.
I think everybody was a little discombobulated there because once again we are broadcasting in regular mode and in vertical mode. So if you're watching us live right now on the Needless Things YouTube channel and you're wondering why is this shaped like a phone, you can switch to the other feed, which is the regular 16:9 view that you're used to. But what happens is when we play that intro video, the audio from both feeds comes through our headsets, but it's not synced. So it's like this weird echoey reverberated version.
It's like when you go to a theme park to watch a 3D show and it's like the old school glasses and they haven't quite synced up. So you have the ghosty image.
Yeah.
It was very because obviously I wasn't here last live stream, so that was very weird for my ears.
Well, let me just tell you,
We have little Amazon. I was going to say we have little Amazon Echo Dots throughout our house, and we will tell it to play like a certain radio station on Sirius XM or whatever, and there's always like a half second like out of sync on all of them. So if I'm standing like in the kitchen and the door to our sunroom is open and I can hear them both like in sync, it's the same thing. I'm like, close one of those off. Anyway.
Well, and it's slightly out of sync, kind of like Noel's audio seems to be a lot of the time. So, Kristian, I'm doubly glad you're back this week because I could not handle the comments 2 weeks ago. To the point where I think it was Road Pig, like at some point late in the show, somebody typed in, "Is anybody even looking at the comments?" Like I heard it in the voice of what's his name from Community? The one that they bring in to play the D&D game with.
Oh, yeah. Is that Fat Neil or is that the other guy? No,
well, it's Fat Neil, but then yeah.
I know the one you're talking about. I was hearing it in Brian Postain's voice for a second.
Yeah, close. Very same same family of voices.
Well, I didn't even notice if that is a compliment to you guys last week, because I feel like the Cobra Temp office worker did such an entertaining job that I thought you guys were right on top of everything, because
we I mean, it was fun. We had a lot of fun, but having had you manage the comments for so long and then suddenly trying to do it again just didn't work out very well. So follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. Click the follow button. Leave us a 5-star review. The best way to spread the word to help us grow is you share stuff from Audible Interlude, whether it's our shows, whether it's the podcasts, whatever. Share it all over the internet, wherever you can. Instagram, follow us at Audible Interlude Podcast. While you're there, check out our pinned stories. Go to our TeePublic store and snatch up some of that merch. We love to see the people wearing the merch. If you get something, post a picture of it or wear it to a live show. Get yourself a free itty bitty ditty bag. That is Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram in the pinned stories. And also, while you're there, shoot us a message with your email address, and we will add you to the Audible Army Facebook group, which I'm going to put a link in the comments right now. So if you're watching us live, you can join from here. That's the easiest way. But if you're not watching us live, if you're listening to this later on or watching the in perpetuity listing on the Needless Things YouTube channel, just shoot us a message with your email address and we'll get you added to the group. But right now, an exclusive in the group is I recorded myself doing a run through just to get the time on our Special Mission Brazil Redux. And it's just me doing all the voices, but I added in sound effects, theme music, everything else. And it's a lot of fun, but you can only get it in the Audible Army Facebook group. So check that out. Next week, we're done with Pyramid of Darkness. Last week, we wrapped up our big Pyramid of Darkness thing. So next week is going to be, all segments. And we're going to let the Audible Army determine which segments we do. So that'll be a poll going up possibly tonight after the show in the Audible Army Facebook group. It's just going to be your favorite segments like Let's Freaking Go Ring, Instruments of Destruction, whatever. We'll put up a list of all the segments with a poll, and whatever gets the most votes, we'll pick the top, 3 or 4 segments, however many we need to do.
I feel like we've neglected our segments for too long because of all of this content we have to fit in here.
All of this darkness.
And we'll also be reviewing G.I. Joe number 14 next week, I believe.
Yeah, because they're bi-weekly now.
That's right.
Yep.
You are watching us on the Needless Things YouTube channel. I have completed all of the Operation Monster Force reviews that I have to do. They went up as of last week, so you can check out the newest wave here on the channel. This week, reviews of Slice and Dice, Slaughter and Mercer, and Steeler and Short Fuse go up. There are Steeler and Short Fuse, and I just cannot reconcile the color choices in my head. And there are a few other things. Overall, I mean, I'm thrilled to have them. They look really cool. I've got some quibbles, but you can hear all about it in Thursday's review of these two guys.
I like how they're packed, and I found these the other night, as I told my co-hosts here, at a Target over in Atlanta, and I was like, oh sweet, I can go ahead and grab these and cancel my pre-order. Of course, I got up front, and they would not sell them to me because the street date wasn't until the following day, and so anyway, I got mine tonight. But I noticed that night, and I'm looking at them again now, and I like the way they've packed them in here to where they're both looking like down and slightly to the left or to their right, and they just look disappointed. So they're both just like,
oh well, let's add to that disappointment for all of us, but excitement for Brett White as he says, I'm in the Minneapolis suburbs now and actually finding figures in stores. Well, good for
crazy.
you.
I was in Minneapolis a few weeks ago, and I picked up the Battle Armor Cobra Commander I've been waiting on for ages, and he was just sitting right there on the shelf. I was like, well,
I believe you mean combat armor. Noel.
Combat armor, yes.
But seriously, no, good for you, because I know, earlier on, you kept mentioning how in New York it was kind of impossible to find anything. So,
yeah, and I hear that from folks I know in New York that, I mean, there's not even any point in going to Targets or anything because there's never anything there. So yeah, all that's going up. What else have we got? Is this follow up or where have I got? Okay, no, we'll get to that in a minute. Our next live stream is November the 24th, right here on the Needless Things YouTube channel, and I believe we are going to be talking about what we're thankful for in G.I. Joe. Something like that. We'll have a little theme. You know how we do.
We're just going to reenact the Dr. Smooth turkey dinner sketch.
Yeah, there you go. Sounds like a good
I don't
plan.
think that stays with our PG rules that we have here.
We'll do it after 10. We'll do it after the watershed. Isn't that what they call it in the UK? The watershed hour. So we've got a little correction, or I've got a correction. that I've got to put up because last time around, and it's because the wording in the email was a little bit confusing. So last time we said that the Toy Collector Wish Book Volume 2 was going back into print. It's still available. Volume 1 is the one that's going back into print. So soon, Volume 1 will be available once again. So that's just a little correction from our last live stream. I found the Ghost Viper at Walmart and passed on it because I'm just not paying $60 for that. It looks awesome. I'm not paying $60 for it.
So, has anybody else noticed this price discrepancy with Walmart from ordering online to in store? Because there are
no.
Now, I haven't looked since this past weekend, but with Marvel Legends, they were still $25. Finding them in store, they were the $27.99 that the bump increase was. And I know when the Ghost Viper went up for pre-sale on Walmart, he was what, 55?
Yeah.
And then he was the 60 on Hasbro Pulse. So it surprised me when you sent us this photo. And I was like, oh, 60 in store. But for the people that got him online, he was
the
55.
pre-order was 55, but shortly after because the pre-order sold out, immediately, if you remember.
Right.
Within a few days, the price online increased to 60 as well. Because that's when because at 55, I had put it on my watch list thinking I'd like to have one. And if I get the notification, I'll grab one. And then at some point when I was checking, I noticed the price had went up to 60 and I took it off my watch list because I'm just not paying that for it.
So Hasbro Pulse did this. So I know this is not related to G.I. Joe at all, but they're doing the Hot Wheels Transformers crossovers. Mm-hmm. And the day they came out, I forgot to get them right away, so I went to pre-order. The Twin Mill had already sold out for the pre-order, but I got the Bone Bone Smasher, Bone Cruncher, whatever his name is, Bone Shaker. And then a few weeks later, I went back and they've got Twin Mills back up for pre-order, but they bumped the price up from the original pre-order price, even though it was the same listing. So yeah. So I'm paying $29.99 for one and like $34.99 for the other one.
Well, friend of the pod, Wreckship85 says Walmart honored the online pre-order price when I found them in store. I lucked out. I think you did, because I would tell all of our listeners, by goodness, try it. Never hurts. Worst they can do is say no.
I can't imagine, and I don't know how Walmarts are in Wreckship's neck of the woods. I can't imagine it being worth $5 of my time to try and hunt down and talk to a Walmart personnel to get that shift made.
Mm-hmm.
So
that would not be worth $5 to me in Metro Atlanta.
Wreckship, if I remember correctly, is near Louisville.
Yeah, he's Kentuckish.
So I'm sure the super Walmarts or Walmarts in Louisville are much bigger than the ones in Breckenridge County where my parents' farm is, because I know their super Walmart can fit just in the toy section of my Walmart, even though my Walmart never seems to have anything. So to me, it's worth it because you're going to have a 5-minute conversation about Bobby Joe, who cut your grass the other day and is going to be cutting it for the church now. So why not save $5 off that conversation?
So anyway, that's the Ghost Viper that I did find in store, but I said no thank you. Let's see. So more local news. I mentioned Short Fuse and Steeler. I forgot to mention a couple weeks ago, I did find my Reaction Plus Tiger Force Duke, which apparently is being found on like $6 clearance other locations.
Wow.
But the Targets around me, it's still full price if they have it.
I have not seen it. I haven't seen anything but They had the snake eyes, the Arctic snake eyes the last time I went to Target. That's the only one of the Reaction Pluses I've seen in like months.
Well, I haven't seen any since the Serpentor Duke wave.
The Target closest to me has pretty full pegs of Reaction Plus.
Wow.
I'm surprised at
I
it,
went
but
to 4 Targets in the last week, and they didn't have any of them.
But no Serpentor yet, which we'll talk about him in a minute. But also just arrived today, my retro cardback bat, which I'll be reviewing, I guess, for next week probably, and then the green shirt's on the way from Pulse, and then Amazon has an estimated delivery date of Saturday or Sunday for the bat right now, which I guess I need to cancel because I don't need more than one. Let's see here. Okay, next up, and you guys, I think, did a little more research on this than I did. Hey!
Reverend Scott Stribling with the super chat to make up for the Ghost Viper increase.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate your support. And just so anybody watching or listening knows, anything that we get through the super chat or any other means all goes back into production of the show, hosting or whatever else. Everything we get goes into that.
And Brett White's comment right above that, though, about it being regional. I just think they're out of stock because they're getting so few in stock at a time. So, if you got one peg, you got somebody who comes in there and wants to buy them all, they're gone.
I don't know, though. I don't think they're on every Target planogram.
I've seen the pegs for them.
See, there are some Targets in this area that don't even have pegs for them.
I think what Phantom is saying, because like for me, there is a Target right down the street from my house, like literally a 10-minute drive, and it gets nothing but a 15-minute drive down the road. When you've crossed into the Disney zip code, there is a Target. So that's the one that I have now set as my local Target, and I get the alerts. Boom. Boom, they have that. Like Reaction Plus, I'm constantly getting. Now, I still haven't seen the newest wave pop up there, but I'm like, okay, so that one I feel like has probably more traffic because it's in a touristy area.
Right.
So therefore,
their inventory is
getting that stuff versus mine, where it's like, okay, here's the stuff that's going to sit on shelves, and if it sells out, we're just not replacing it.
Well, and that's another thing that varies regionally, and this is Target and Walmart. There are some areas where their inventory doesn't get reported to the app, as in, you can buy it for pickup. Like, that doesn't work at every store with every item. Like, that varies, and I don't know what the conditions are for that.
I was mentioning the other day too, some of the stuff that I find in these stores is completely random and wacky. There was an entire peg of classified Jinx, which I haven't seen in a store in like a year. And there were 4 of them in stock and no other like regular mainline classified figures at that location. So I was like, did they just find an old box that they never put out in the back, or
it could have been because Target does, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this. So let's say several stores have sitting inventory and of a current product, and one store has sold out of that product. They may do an inventory shuffle where the stores will ship all of their remaining classified of that assortment to one store. So there could have been 3 stores with 2 Jinx figures each, and they all went to the one store that keeps selling classified through.
I wonder if I should have scanned them to see if they were on clearance, because sometimes they'll self-clearance them like that.
With my short fuse and Steeler, I noticed that typically when I order from Target online, any pre-orders have actually shipped from Atlanta, and these did not. But these also didn't ship from Orlando. They shipped from Jacksonville. So I figured, Oh, so because the Target app, when Dave got his, I got all, "Wah, wah, what about me?" Because I literally had gotten an email saying that mine were back ordered, and he's getting his, but Florida. So I thought, oh well, Jacksonville must have gotten plenty. Orlando got shorted, and so they're just sending their extra stock to us. But real quickly, Brett White also chimes in. I didn't know you could set alerts in the Target app. This is dangerous. Yes, you can. So you can go into the Target app, put in your zip code for an item that you're interested in, and it will let you can set the radius. So I have mine set to like 15 miles, I think, but you can go up to like 30 miles where it will let you know what targets have it in stock, or you can set that zip code from that zip code, you can set a store as your base, and it will let you know. So it
I
makes
would never turn
hunting
it
a lot
on.
easier.
Well, and I would never turn it on because what would happen would be I would be like at my office in a meeting and I'd get the alert and I know that like I'm going to have to act on this now. And then I'm just going to be angry that I won't be able to go get this item that I
Yeah.
want that's sitting on a shelf 20
Well,
miles away.
but if you're sneaky enough, because I have done this with the Target app, so you can go if something is in store, right? You can order it for pickup as opposed to shipping. And if you do pickup through the Target app, they give you 24 hours to go to the store and pick it up. So it's not like, ooh, I paid for this and now as soon as I'm off work, I have to go get it. You have a window. Now, that doesn't work for everybody, but I'm just letting our
and
listeners know
this
for
is, of
those
course,
that it does.
if the local inventory is visible to their website, and
True.
if they're
Yes.
doing in-store pickup, and if you don't do the in-store pickup and then it gets canceled, which I've had happen to me several times.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
that's
I
where
mean, look,
Target's
it's
losing
worth
business.
trying anything, but I don't want anybody to think this is a catch-all. You know?
No. And to bounce off of Reverend Scott Stripling, they could have been found under a shelf too. People hide stuff a lot. You know where I have had the craziest luck with that is Ross. It sounds trashy, but I'm telling you, when you visit Ross, get down and look underneath those shelves, because that is where I have found most of the items that people are like,
I
oh,
found I found the Viper 3-pack like that because it was up underneath the bottom of the shelf.
Yeah.
So all right. So to move on, this popped up, I think, in a Facebook ad or something, or like when how Amazon will have the little suggestion boxes. This Fighting for Freedom, the unauthorized G.I. Joe chronology, popped up, and of course I went and had to take a look at it because anything G.I. Joe I'm going to go look into. But just on this cover, there are some red flags. Might be too strong a word.
Yeah.
But what we have is a cover with a bunch of G.I. Joe-ish vehicles. And then it says Volume 1, Comic Books,
Yes.
1964 to 2008. Now,
Yes.
were you guys able to track down those 1964 G.I. Joe comic books?
Okay, so I watched a couple of interviews. One
Well, wait, before you get into it, let me do the synopsis.
Sorry.
Explore the vast fictional world of G.I. Joe comics spanning decades. Discover the story of one humble soldier in a globe-trotting team of adventurers. Learn the origins of a daring special mission force and its struggle against an evil terrorist organization. Revisit the tragic past of a silent commando and the history of a bankrupt family man who became the most dangerous man in the world. Explore a world of warriors, criminals, ninja clans, and and android soldiers from the ancient past to an extreme future. So that's
Okay. So never let it be understated what I do for the Audible Army, because I spent all my time before work this morning trying to find out as much as I could. Now, I actually do hope that maybe we can get him on to do an interview, because the book is not AI, surprisingly. Um, the author, his name, hang on, let me pull up
James
my,
McFadden.
yes, thank you.
It's on the
Trying to
screen.
pull up my notes. He has done very similar things for Star Wars. This book is actually 10 years in the making. The original publisher that asked him to work on this while he was working on it went out of business. And so it's just kind of been floating out there as he continued working on it. And just recently, through Amazon, was able to get this done. So the reason why it says 1964, here's the part that I found interesting. So he is taking all media and kind of looking at how does it fit together, not necessarily how does it all fit together in one cohesive story, but how do eras that are similar fit together. So he takes the old advertisements from the 60s with the Joe Colton character that were comic
Oh.
book types. He even said he takes coloring book stories. If the coloring book stories actually very blatantly make it clear that they are taking place during a certain story arc in a comic or a cartoon miniseries, because volume 2 is going to deal more with the cartoons. He fits those in there. So he kind of has them divided up into like he was saying Devil's Due. Even though when the Devil's Due stuff came out, it was like treated as 5 years after the Larry Hama comics. Well, by the time you get to IDW, Larry Hama is now continuing his story. So that the Dreamwave stuff sort of becomes its own continuity that doesn't tie into anything else. So I I am interested to check this out, to see how he can tie certain things together. Um, One of the other reasons why I'm kind of interested, maybe eventually if we ever get a chance to talk to him either on the show or at a convention, he does mention in one of the interviews that when he is not able to make sense of something, he sort of takes what is happening in GI Joe at the time and fills in the gaps. But he does make it very clear that here is my thought or my opinion as to how this story flows into this story. So I would say for most of our listeners, if you're interested in these kind of timeline things, check it out. But as with anything that is lore or headcanon related, remember, most importantly, your headcanon is what matters. What's in this book can put kind of everything out there for you so you can go, oh, I didn't know about this, I want to check it out. But it doesn't mean that this is what supersedes everything else.
Right. It's almost, it sounds like it's almost similar to what Toy Guru did with Masters of the Universe,
And
as far as sort of trying to
yes,
piece things together.
Yeah, and he kind of mentions that, not necessarily the toy guru part, but I guess the original publisher that asked him to work on this, they were making their money publishing small print books that did the same thing, like taking niche sci-fi properties. Because, like he mentioned, Planet of the Apes, like they had put out these books that gave you a timeline that made the movies, the TV series, the comics, and the cartoon all fit. And I'm like, okay, there are people out there that love that kind of stuff. And he even said in doing his research, there were things about GI Joe being someone who came into it with a real American hero that he didn't know about, when you're looking at all of this stuff from like the 70s that introduced Joe Colton and the Adventure Team and Super Joe, um and then even when he was saying that some of the coloring books, how when you read through those stories, they very clearly are taking place during certain storylines um, of the Sunbow cartoon. So again, I think that's fascinating, and I think that opens people's eyes up to, oh, here's some stories I never would have checked out because for some crazy reason I haven't listened to enough Audible Interlude, and I don't like Deke. Meanwhile, Deke has some good stories. The animation, no. But so again, this first one takes all of the comics and storybooks that have been released, and he breaks them up into whatever timelines fit together. And then volume 2, I think he said, will be out next year. It's going to be a quick turnaround because obviously he was working on both volumes, but it is going to follow all of the animation stuff.
I might reach out and see if we can get a review copy of this, because I would love to take a deeper dive into it. But real quick, this is for anybody watching the video feed. I just want to share this picture, and if you see over to the right side of the screen, what looks like a devilfish just flying through the air.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I watched enough Miami Vice. I know that that's what boats do.
The irony too is that the devilfish is like the one thing that looks like it's modeled after an actual GI Joe vehicle,
Right.
whereas the rest of them are like, this is the actual Army vehicle that GI Joe vehicles are somewhat based around.
Yeah.
The only other thing I want to throw in there, and listeners, listen, I'm not saying we're perfect, not by any stretch of the imagination, but as someone who does AV for a living, if you want to do video, please remember the placement of the lighting. Because if you have backlighting that is washing you out, it makes it very unbearable for people to want to watch you. Just a friendly tip from your Cobra intern.
So that was just something that popped up in the old victimizing advertising, that happens in all of our socials now, and I thought it was worth taking a look at.
He even said the current publisher did not want to do any sort of publicity until the book was out. So then he could do a lot of publicity and be like, oh, buy the book now, which I applaud. But when you look at that cover with nothing behind it, no weeks or even a month or so of buildup, it does all come across as very, in this day and age,
it raises some questions.
Is this real?
It's a thing that makes you go,
Yeah.
Well, good. Thank you for digging into that. I'm glad we were able to take a look at it. And like I said, I'm going to reach out and see if maybe we can get a review copy to go a little deeper with it. Decibel Magazine, number 253, the November issue, included a flexi disc. Noel, I know you remember these things.
Oh, yeah. Did you have to put the penny on it to make sure it was weighted right on your turntable?
No, it actually was nice and snug on there and played very well. So a flexi disc, if you are unfamiliar, is basically a promotional tool that will be included in magazines or paperback books of typically a single song. Although my favorite example of it came with Bloom County
Billy and the
Billy and the
Boingers
Boingers.
bootleg.
Yes, that you pulled right out of the book. So this was included in Decibel magazine, which is still available, and is a song Cobra Island that is not on the album, the Cold Slither album. This is, as of now, I think it might be available digitally now, but right now this is the only way to get a physical copy of this song, and it just looks awesome. Like, that's a translucent blue, nice vibrant colors. It's just a cool collectible piece that I'm quite happy to have.
I want to jump in real quick because Nowhere Man Child chimed in with, for many years, James McFadden ran a page called My Useless Knowledge that had a ton of Joe info there. I love Useless Knowledge. And in one of the interviews that I watched, he did mention not that page, but a G.I. Joe page that he used to run in the 90s. And when I did a Google search, it obviously doesn't exist anymore. So when I actually get a day off, I do want to see if it's been combed by the Internet Archive.
Interesting. So Noel, I think you initially shared this image with us in the chat.
Yes.
Once again,
Brown.
I absolutely hate when the first image I see of a new product is a poor quality image with bad lighting that does not properly represent the product. And that's exactly what this is, because when I saw this, I was like, oh, it's Poo Poo Pee Pee Serpentor.
Well, I posted it along with a picture of Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo.
Yeah, I mean, this looks terrible, and
for our listeners who aren't watching the video, it is a Python Patrol colored Serpentor.
Reaction
so
Plus Serpentor.
Reaction Plus,
It's a Target exclusive, and this picture of it is bad, and it's one of those things you look at and you're just like, why would they do this? And there is nothing really about this image that tips you off that the colors are so horribly wrong.
Nothing about this photo. Like, when Noel shared it, all I kept thinking was, this doesn't even look like Python Patrol colors.
Right.
If I look at the Python Patrol figures on my shelf.
But then we got a good image of it, and it's actually awesome. It's all of that brown is black, like a very pitch black. He has much more noticeably the Python Patrol camouflage color on the arms. This figure looks awesome, and it is amazing. Just think about that. Going forward, when some leaked image comes out and you think to yourself, this looks like trash, I don't want this, why did they do this with this figure? And we've been saying this on the show for years now, but this is a very clear example of a figure that I had no interest in whatsoever and couldn't even understand why they did it, to one that is a must-have and I think looks awesome. And only difference is lighting.
Even though this one looks better, I have to give it out to the Audible Army, because from Wreck Ship 85, we have the Poopy Patrol Serpentor, and from Reverend Scott, we have Python Patrol. And I have the humor of a 5-year-old, so kudos to both of you, because that's what I need out of my Cobra.
Throw up Nowhere Man Child.
He
Not
says
mine.
tons of these now on pegs at Target. Oh,
Yeah,
I
not
have
not
seen
all
that.
targets. Maybe your targets, but I'm sure they will be. I mean, it's the same thing that happened with that Tiger Force Duke. Is it just takes time to get everywhere?
Which I've still not seen anywhere either. So,
Well, so yeah, dig it. Well done. So moving to something that we talked about a few weeks ago, and we now have an update. If you recall, the Wrestling Heroes figures. These are, and I apologize, speaking of terrible images.
Potato cameras.
But, well, this is from the live stream where, not Ringside Collectibles, Pro Wrestling Tees announced the figures, and these are the only images that have been released thus far. So they did a live stream announcing these. These are 3-point O-ring wrestling figures. And the first one you're looking at here is Ric Flair in the purple. Got a nice Jake the Snake in the basically the Hasbro WWF figure tights. Danhausen, of course, because Danhausen must have a figure in every form factor available. And then finally, oh, yeah, Macho Man Randy Savage, yeah. In the classic orange with the yellow boots, ripe for repaint after repaint. Because right off the top of my head, you could do this in pink, you can do this in green. There are lots of possibilities here. But these were originally slated for December. When we first announced, or when we first talked about them a few weeks ago, and all of the stock has come in at Pro Wrestling Tees, and they will be going up for sale this Friday. A set of 4, I'm sure they're selling them individually as well. Set of 4 is $100, which is $25 a piece, which they come with no accessories, but if you look, you can see these are one of 1,000. So that's a pretty darn small run. It's, in my opinion, that is a reasonable price for a licensed figure like this. And for anybody watching, I'm just going to run back through the beginning just so you can take a look at them now that you kind of more know what they are. And if you order the set of 4, you have a chance of getting a chase figure. Now, they have not announced what the chase figures are yet. I would imagine they're just repaints of these figures. But I think this is very exciting. I think the card art looks fantastic. I love the nod to the Joe logo that they did with the wrestling, with the red, white, and blue ropes. The cards look like they're about the same size as Joe cards. I'm very, very excited to get these in hand. I have reached out to see if they've got anybody who wants to come on and talk about them, but I don't know that this is kind of a newer thing for them, so I don't know that they've got people in place to do that, really. But I also wonder if we might already know someone who had a hand in these. I have done a separate piece of reaching out to check about that because I have an inkling of where these might have come from. But anyway, these are all licensed and will be available this Friday, November 14th from Pro Wrestling Tees. And 1,000, like I said, that's not many. And when you're putting vintage toy fans, Joe fans, and wrestling fans all in the same pool, I don't know how long these are going to last. But I will be sitting there whatever time they go on. I don't think they've announced a time yet. Whatever time these go on sale, I'm on it.
I'll be on the West Coast, so I'll be having to look out for that. I don't know. I when I first like the Ric Flair one, because you can't really see much.
Right.
That one looked initially like, all right, well, this looks like, kind of the same proportions. It looks like it might fit aesthetically with your GI Joe figures. As we kept going, though, less and less and less. Like the arms are a little long, the grip, the hand grips, the hands are huge, and like the Macho Man's a little cartoony looking. So I don't know. Like, I'd like to have something like this that I could display along with them, and it would kind of fit seamlessly.
Mm.
But we'll see. I'll have to see if they're available on Friday. When I'm available to order them, I may just have to plunk the money down just to have them in hand.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun just to. I mean, you know me, I just want to review them. Like, I'm excited just to have a completely new product to review. So yeah, those are awesome. Pretty excited about those, and continue. Oh wait, here's the announcement that came with the pictures. Our 3.75-inch action figure line is coming in early. Bundle presale to buy all 4 together will go live next Friday the 14th, and that's just the bundle. Buy the bundle for a chance at a chase of each of the 4 figures and to receive by Christmas. So they won't be shipping out for a few weeks, but you will definitely get them before Christmas. Individual figures will go on sale later in December unless full bundles sell out. $100 plus shipping for all 4 figures together. Hope you like them. And they will be at prowrestlingtees.com. So more wrestling news. This is now, they put up a picture of a signed figure. This figure will not be, well, okay. This is a WrestleCade exclusive Sergeant Slaughter Major Bendy, limited to 250 in his Slaughter's Marauders colors. Sergeant Slaughter will be at WrestleCade with the Major Wrestling figure, or with Collect Major, sorry. So you will be able to get it signed if you're at WrestleCade, but it doesn't come signed. And if any stock goes up online afterwards, that won't be signed unless they have him sign a bunch and sell them for a premium price on whatnot, or however they do. But I think it's cool that they're doing another Slaughter. I'm just hoping they do another Big Rubber Guys Slaughter in the Joe, like how the Slaughter LJ and the Hasbro LJN style Slaughter that came out. That's still what I'm hoping for. And they can do it. Or they can do something pretty darn close to it. And then even more wrestling adjacent, I just want to remind everybody that the World War Hell Buddies will be at Retro Toy Con next weekend, the 22nd and 23rd, I think, in Greenville, South Carolina. They sold well at Legion's Con this past weekend, but I do believe he's got remaining stock that he's going to have at Retro Toy Con in Greenville, which I'm back and forth on, because I was going up there to hopefully get Matt Cardona to sign a bunch of stuff, but he's only there Sunday, and I can't go Sunday. But I kind of still want to go up on Saturday anyway. We'll see.
You should. We'll see. It's a fun little show.
Yeah, it would be if I had gotten on board earlier and was able to sell stuff, it would be more enticing. Although I do have job news, which I'm not going to share right here, but good job news. Okay, so that is all the news. I forgot to put the banner up. Oh my gosh, we're flying so loose tonight. How's anybody going to know what the segment is? Well, the next segment, everybody knows it. Everybody loves it. It's the one where if you're following Audible Interlude podcast on Instagram, every time we're doing a live stream, we put up a post that says sound off, because we want you, the Audible Army, to tell us what to talk about. So it is time now for Destro and his magic banana to sound off. First up, Road Pig John. What are your thoughts about next year classified 60th, 61st anniversary figures coming up? Do you expect that we get a blue dress Marines? What other military branches do you think we will get? Well, they have renamed those to the Legacy Collection to encompass more, so they can continue it on. Obviously, despite all of them, showing up at Ross and everywhere else now. Apparently they did well enough to continue the concept. I think dress blue Marines are a good idea because then at that point, well, no. Okay, so I was going to say you do the dress blues or dress uniform body and then release Gung Ho, but that Gung Ho figure is so massive you can't use a standard body. Like you can't just pop that Gung Ho head on a regular dress Marine body.
Unless they just decide to do, I mean, they could do a retool of the head and just have like a normal height Gung Ho.
He just shrinks. People can't accept Hawk's hair color change. You're going to accept Gung Ho decreasing to 2/3 of his size?
Well, Rexship85 very timely chiming in with, on the note of this sound off, Patriot Force just teased today in their stories that they're working on a Marine dress blues figure that should fit the retro Gung Ho head.
Ah, interesting. See if they can beat Hasbro to the punch. I do think at some point Hasbro should release that dress uniform Gung Ho. But yeah, I mean,
I imagine they will. It looks like they're trying to get to everything.
Yeah.
As long as the line continues to merit.
Oh, they're trying to get to everything but Eagle Eye or Kung Fu Grip.
Well, everything Real American Hero.
Everything Real American Hero.
Yeah, everything that counts.
Minus the one that Liddy said is not off the table.
So I think a paramedic would be very cool. I'd like to see a paramedic. I'd like to see an astronaut, but I would want it to come with the space capsule, but that would make it very expensive because their Legacy Collection is already at a price point where I'm not paying that for what it is. Well, I'm not even buying the clearance ones at Ross.
I didn't like. I looked at every one of those Marine snipers and thought about buying it for $16.99, but then just put it back on the shelf. Like, I just don't need this.
Yeah,
it's a great looking figure. I just don't need it.
I'm just not into generic modern military. It's just not my bag. But they look great, and I think they should continue the Legacy Collection for sure. But for me personally, like if you're going to get into stuff like that, I'd be much more interested in like a long range recon patrol set with Stalker and Billy and Snake Eyes. Tommy.
Which I think would probably do better anyway, because I think most people who are buying those aren't just buying them because they want generic figures. They're G.I. Joe fans. And they're like, oh, I can add this as custom fodder, troop builder, whatever.
Right. Well, I mean, I think they're popular. I see them in toy photography all the time. They're all over Instagram. So I mean, they're selling. Like I said, they seem to be continuing it. So they're selling whatever Hasbro needs them to sell. Any other branches or anything anybody in the chat? Any suggestions for Legacy?
I need a Coast Guard figure so we can get a cutter.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, and that would probably be. Although, I know they've used the accessories, but have they used the bodies of these? See, I got I guess the Sailor was Torpedo. So yeah, I guess they are using that tooling again. All right. Sneezy the Squid, who is our pal Gary Mitchell from DragonCon American Sci-Fi Classics track. We have Nemesis, Pythona, and the Royal Guard on the way. How long do you think till we get Globulus? And should he be a deluxe where we can pop his torso onto the big ball or snake tail, or should he just come with one body? I mean, I think they have to go all out with Globulus.
Yeah. I think he's going to be he'll be at a convention exclusive maybe next year sometime.
Yeah.
And he'll be a big deluxe, $60 figure that will have probably the
Noel, I would remind you that the Ghost Viper is $60.
I'm going back to the old so the old pricing scheme. He'll probably be $100 at this point if he's going to be
right.
do it big like Serpentor size almost.
Right. And that's what I'm expecting is he's going to have likely a big segmented tail, and then they'll consider that ball a vehicle. And I'll be interested to see how they tool that up. I'm excited.
Take a look at the Animal Wave, which I think was the last pre-orders before the last for Mythic Legions, and then the ones that they just announced at Legions Con, because they are now doing figures that have the snake lower body that is articulated, and it is also very similar to how Boss Fight did their early Hacks figures. So that's kind of what I'm seeing for Globulus, where, yep, pop him off at the waist. You can put some, I mean, in this case, it won't be legs, but you can put him on the giant snot ball, or have him on, instead of just being like a stand, it will actually be an articulated tail.
I just want it to be, I think it depends on how they execute it, but I think I want it to be segmented and not like a bendy.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
you know what, though? If you look at the Marvel Legend, Gargantos, is that its name?
Yeah.
That just came out. Those tentacles appear to be really, really flexible and posable.
True.
I haven't got my hands on one yet.
I want one, but I haven't got it yet either. So
I don't know.
We'll sure,
we'll
but
see. Because segmented can look not great.
Like I said, check out the newest just announced figures from Legions Con, and you'll see they have a female figure that has a lower snake body, and the way they did the segments, I'm like, oh, absolutely. If that's how they do Globulus, I will be happy, because it's posable, but at the same time, it doesn't look like they sacrificed aesthetics for the.
Well, and that's the key thing is he still has to look good, and I'm thinking of like Godzilla tails and other things that are okay, but if you're combining that with the torso of a figure, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do. And if they were to make continuing with
Brett White chiming in, sorry, I had a moment there. He says, I asked Lenny about it when I interviewed him. Tight-lipped.
Brett White, you charming son of a gun. I've been trying to interview that guy for 5 years, and I cannot penetrate Hasbro's circle of secrecy around him.
Well, I'm sitting here thinking penetrating. Well, you don't allow him to be tight-lipped. You just put Ripper's Jaws of Life in there and open it up and be like, Globulus secrets come out.
Continuing with Gary. And if they were to make a Cobra Law playset, what should be included? Should it be a HasLab? Okay. They shouldn't make a Cobra Law playset because I don't know what that would be other than the clam prison.
So I thought about this one. And
Are you suggesting that I didn't?
Well, no. Go ahead.
Well, I just, for classified scale. Now, if they were to do an O-ring style playset with some of the seed pods and like the clam prison and like a manageable scale of things, that could be fun.
Yeah, I thought of it as like doing a Super 7 and possibly even doing it as like a cardboard backdrop type setup.
Yeah, and that's much more likely.
Yeah.
So I am on the page with Reverend Scott here that says goopy stuff, because I thought when it comes to classified, what do I want? And honestly, the clam prison was the first thing that came to my mind. But how do you make that actually functioning? And then I thought about playset, and I don't necessarily need it to be a prison. As a child of the 80s, what do I need my giant clam prison to be? It needs to be a slime pit. So give me a cardboard backdrop, of
For
Cobra
classified?
Law. Yeah. And then give me where I can put my classified figure in the clam and then pour slime on them to
Careful.
get that goopy look like you have in the G.I. Joe animated movie. And
look, the kids are all into slime again. Like, it's back. It's a huge thing again. So hey, might get some new fans.
I don't know, those new Goo Ninja figures that I really wanted to review, but they're so expensive, are already marked down. So I don't know. But no, I don't see that for classified at all. I see for classified, it's going to be, if they were to do the clam, it's going to be inside like a softer plastic piece that you can clip Cobra Commander's arms and legs into, and then maybe it like when you open it, it kind of slides forward, and then when you close it, like there's slots on either side here, so when you close it, he goes face down into it, so you can close it. But when you open it, it slides him out, so he's like suspended in there like he is in the thing. But I mean, I
think you're giving them a lot of credit, because I look at what they did with the bunkers and the Joe version of the bunker, and I'm like, honestly, for classified, if they did a Cobra Law playset, we're getting one tentacle that will come with a bunch of different accessories, and you have to buy.
But I think you're relating it to something other. Like, I'm saying they have, because they made that thing up. Now, they had something they could have based it on, but they chose not to. I'm thinking about the Hiss tank and how great it is, the Dragonfly and how great it is, and the fact that they know what this clam looks like, they know what it's supposed to do, they know what people are going to expect out of it, so they would engineer it. It would be a cool piece. But again, I just don't need that. And no, it should not be a HasLab.
Unless it is an O-ring 3 3/4 scale broadcast energy transmitter.
I don't even want that. Because
I like Brian Hoffman's idea of Cold Slither 2 live from Clam Prison. Clam Rock Live.
Jam out with your clam. Oh, never.
Oh my gosh. Censor, eject. I mean, just looking at the mass device from the old 25th anniversary, BT, like, because they're going to scale it properly. If they make it, it's going to be huge. And I just don't want to dedicate that much shelf space to that.
I don't need that in my collection, but some people really, really want it.
Yeah, they definitely do.
So obviously I missed something by only paying attention to Master Force and not the Masters of the Universe Origins line, because Yorktown Joe said, I used the Venus flytrap that came with the Walmart Motu translucent Moss Man as a clam trap for a Super 7 Cobra Commander.
Oh. I remember that Moss Man, but I was ignoring, because isn't that one of the like Turtles crossover ones or something?
Oh, I don't know, but I'm now going to have to go online and look this up, because
check it out.
Attacking plants, always a good thing.
So moving on. Silent Interlude. Happy birthday to the United States Marine Corps. That got me thinking about Joes who were in the Marine Corps. Gung Ho, Leatherneck, and Sergeant Slaughter spring to mind first, but Mainframe was also a Marine. That got me thinking about secondary characters in G.I. Joe that didn't get a ton of media representation and aren't super popular, which made me want to shout out Freefall, a very cool figure that never got a ton of attention. Who is your favorite secondary character, underrated character, or role player? Did you guys get an opportunity to look into this?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. This is so subjective as to who considers what a secondary character or whatever. But I mean, my guy that always pops up that I just love, and we're talking character, I guess, and not figure. So that, I don't know. But I just always throw Super Trooper out there. I love that figure. I like the idea of him basically being sort of a spokesperson, a mouthpiece, like what Steve Rogers was at the beginning of, not the beginning of Captain America, like when they first sent him off and couldn't figure out what to do with him. Like I kind of like that idea. So Super Trooper was my guy here.
Yeah. Well, when I was thinking of secondary character, I don't think of Mainframe as one, but I started going through looking at all the figures from like 82 to 87 when they stopped having cartoon to support them there for a while at least. I didn't count all of 87 because a lot of those were not in the movie.
Yeah.
And really, almost all the regularly carded figures from those years got at least like one spotlight episode at some point. So that, like, none of them I considered secondary. But I was looking at stuff beyond that, and I think the one who really rings out to me is Repeater, because he's like he's this 20-year-old army vet who's like super grizzled. He's like kind of the elder statesman, but like he got no representation. He's only in a handful of the Marvel comic run. And I would love to see more, because I always loved his backstory, that he was a 20-year veteran who never rose above like a staff sergeant.
And he's got that killer Colonial Marines.
Yeah, that Steadicam
rig. Yeah.
So,
Kristian?
So mine is sort of along the same lines as Noel's. It's a figure that I feel like we talked maybe once before, because it's not one of the best looking later figures of the line, but Colonel Courage. When you read his backstory on his file card, I'm like, this is somebody who should be up there, kind of like with Hawk or with Duke, because he is so by the books, and he is I'm going to make sure that the grunts have tucked the corners in their bed the proper way, and I think he deserves more attention than what he gets.
That's solid. Plus, he's got a tie.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to share the screen real quick so everybody knows this Moss Man that we're talking about. And it is one of the Turtles crossovers. Oh, that's super tiny.
Still cool.
That works with a reaction figure. But anyway, yeah, and this figure, I mean, this is right up my alley, a translucent figure, but I said I was not getting any of the Turtles crossovers. So there it is.
So the chat actually really seems to like this one, because Brian Hoffman says, my answer is always Ice Viper, which I'm with you.
Well, you've got to put his follow-up on that as well.
Right. Even when Ice Viper is not the right answer. Aw. Brian Fabian says Rakondo or Recoil.
Yeah, Rakondo is definitely a solid pick, because he didn't get a ton. He got featured in the comics a bit, but not nearly as much as young me thought he should, because I loved that figure when I was a kid. All right. Hillbilly Harper. Why is Hillbilly the coolest member of Podcast from the Pit? Well, I think it's because he wears those shirts that have the vents in the back and in the armpits that keep you nice and cool. To my knowledge, that is the only reason.
I just think it's because his name is Hillbilly. I mean,
bingo.
Yeah.
I grew up in Kentucky, so when you see the word hillbilly, that is the coolest. That is the person in the room you want to get to know.
Yorktown Joe, regarding the 50th anniversary of the Edmund Fitzgerald What If One Sailor Survived? This would give an ominous extra meaning to one Joe's code name. And Yorktown Joe continues to say, The legend lives on from the one who escaped. As he swam from the wreckage on Flotsam, the cold it near froze the poor sailor to death. But he made it to shore while still clinging. As he kindled a fire and he tried to get warm, the last toll of the bell was an echo. That good ship went down, and this salt changed his name. And from then on he claimed, I'm Delgado.
Haunting.
Truly.
But I want to give that
Gordon Lightfoot, eat your heart out.
that sound off. I want to give a shout out, listeners. If you have never checked out Caitlin Daughtry's YouTube channel, she is a mortician that is brilliant, and she actually has a whole video on Lake Superior and the Edmund Fitzgerald. So check it out. It's very cool.
It was funny because this, like, I was looking at this on Instagram, and as I switched over to a tab with Facebook, and I got the Weekly World News' post for today was that on the 50th anniversary of the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, that it had risen from the bottom of the lake. So, yeah,
I'm expecting that to be the first vehicle in the Operation Monster Force line, because they know how to make those haunting stories really good.
G.I. Joe Collector 76. Since you guys are going over the 1985 file cards, and those are on our audio episodes, which we will have one next week, if you could step back in time into a toy aisle in 1985 for 5 minutes, what would you grab first?
there's only one acceptable answer to this question.
Right. Right. I mean, it's obviously a flag and everything you could stack on top of a flag.
Yeah.
But yeah, flag. I mean, you got to have a flag.
Especially considering it retailed for like $79.99.
I am the lone person actually out of that. It would not be a flag. You did not, sorry, G.I. Joe Collector 76, but you did not specify G.I. Joe.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Ooh, this
said, what would we grab first? So, honestly, first, I would be grabbing the entire first wave of Droids figures from the animated series Droids from Star Wars, because Jan Tosh is the greatest Star Wars character ever created.
Wow.
Fight me on that.
Wow.
Order 66. If we're going with G.I. Joe, though, it would be the tactical battle platform. As a kid, me personally, I would want that over a flag.
I'm just saying, we're stepping back in a time. I presume we're returning back to our normal time. I can pick up a tactical battle platform, new in box, for about a quarter of what a loose flag is going to cost me, with a bunch of missing parts. So,
yeah, I mean, that's the idea of getting a fresh flag is tremendous. And Kristian, I know what comment you're looking at and what you're going to put up there, what blasphemy you're going to display on the screen. But real quick, I'll just say, here's what would happen to me if I ended up in 1985. I would get there and I would only have my debit card and no cash. So I wouldn't be able to get anything.
Well, Brett White, thank you for being on the same page as me, because I never understood the flag love. It's a table.
Boo!
And also, not that this one is obscure, but it was a close call as far as first grabs in 1985 between the Droids figures or Grubby from Teddy Ruxpin. Because it took me over 20 years to track one of those down.
That's the Caterpillar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had being on clearance and just taking up like a shelf of an entire aisle.
Yeah, well, we had the Teddy Ruxpin and the Grubby and several of the fobs, which were just the hand puppets. Yep. So you just had to, but
those were very rare where I grew up in. So
what I learned is if you record your voice and you tap slightly on the microphone with every syllable, and you pop it into Teddy Ruxpin, he'll start talking. He'll start saying what you were saying. So that was nightmare fuel, by the way.
Okay, so we're going to get to some nightmare fuel here from Rexship. But first, Brian Faven says, actually, a flag can be 3 tables because he does have one. I think we need some more explanation there. But Rexship 85 says, is Lieutenant Dan at table 2 Brett White?
You have to go to his previous comment to get the full joke.
Oh, okay. It's not a table. It doesn't have any legs. I'm sorry. I thought it was just like legit making a Lieutenant Dan joke.
Well, he was Lieutenant Dan.
Still great. Rexship, you win the night.
All right. Finally, Tiki Rum Dumpster. With the recent release of reissues from Hasbro for the Black Series and Legends, why do you think we did not get any reissues for Classified? It's an interesting question. I think one reason is that Black Series and Legends have been around so much longer than Classified. When you look at it's still only been around for 5 years. So my question for the chat is, what should be reissued for Classified?
But you don't think it's because of the retro card series?
Well, Black Series has the archives,
right?
And
but I don't know. To
like
me,
they're
I feel
doing
like
straight up reissues. It's a little bit of a different thing. Like and one recent example is today the Power Princess figure went up for pre-order. But it's because nobody got it. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was one of the lost, they lost a bunch of the shipping containers at sea or whatever. I don't know what the deal is with that. So like that, I get it because that tripled in value like as soon as it went up for pre-order for whatever reason. But then they're also reissuing things like that Rhino Build-A-Figure and so I don't know what needs to be. Well, that's the thing. Brett White, put Brett White's comment up there. Says Snow Job, but I don't agree. I don't think they need to reissue Snow Job. I think they need to do a better version of just Snow Job.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think that part of this is probably because Star Wars is going to have a lot more production capacity than G.I. Joe, just in general.
Well, and Marvel. I mean, both of them.
Yeah, Marvel. Yeah, same thing. So... Yeah, they have a little bit more freedom, I think, to do reissues like that, while still doing their mainline figures as well.
So Hoffman,
like Hoffman says, Cobra Island Trooper, and when I think of that, I go back to, and you're right, it's a different shade of blue, and not necessarily the same accessories, but I go back to the retro carded, but.
Well, and that's, again, this isn't a reissue. So if they reissue the Cobra Island Trooper 1, it's the old aesthetic, and it's got pins. Does anybody want that?
Well, and also, does your exclusive deal with Target still stand, or can you release that as a mainline?
Well, I mean, they put out the other Cobra Infantry that was very, very similar to the Cobra Island Trooper.
But it was, but it wasn't the Cobra Island specific trooper.
And I think Brett White has nailed it.
Right. He says most of them need remakes, not reissues. Roadblock, Lady J, those early figures are rough. And I agree, because when I think of the figures that have been released that I would want to re-see, I don't want to see those original versions. I want a better version. But
yeah, we got retros of Lady J and Flint, and look, I got the Duke and the Scarlet that I wanted that I didn't get back then. I got the Roadblock that I wanted later, even though it's not the same version, because we got the Heavy Machinery Gunner one.
I also think part of the answer to this is with Star Wars and Marvel Legends, those characters are being released based on very specific looks. Whereas with G.I. Joe, everything in classified, even the stuff that's inspired by Sunbow or whatever, is still an interpretation of a look, as opposed to representing something that we've seen on the page or on a screen. So with Kingpin, if you want that comic book Kingpin, that's it. And they're not going to redo that look. Whereas with Joe, I don't know that anybody looks at even Outback. As great as Outback is, well, there are little tweaks that could be made to put out a better Outback. They could brighten the colors up a little bit. They could give him a little bit, like what Brett White says, I think counts as the answer. If they're gonna redo a character, it would be better to update it and rework it than just reissue it.
We just talked about Barbecue last week when we were recording our
Right.
episode.
I wouldn't want Barbecue just reissued. He needs to be updated.
And I think you hit something with really how young this line is compared to the other two, because I know, like, for me, who stepped away from Marvel Legends and then got back into it, there are certain figures that are like evergreen that to build your teams you want, right? And you can put out multiple variants of Thor because he has all these different looks in the comics, but Odin really has, you want the Jack Kirby Odin. You know, unless you're an MCU collector, you don't want that. Same thing with Star Wars. Like A New Hope, Luke Skywalker has very specific looks, whereas Joe, with the exception of maybe some of the exclusives, is it hard to track down certain figures? Because if I want a Firefly, I can still go online and order the retro one versus spending the double digits to get the Cobra Island.
Speaking of figures that sadly need updates.
Sure,
again.
But
yeah.
But if you're like, oh, G.I. Joe to me, Duke, Scarlet, Cobra Commander, you can go online right now and easily find those figures in the looks that you are thinking of them as. Whereas, like for me, wanting, let's say, the Dave Cockrum, John Byrne era X-Men looks, the recent Marvel Girl Cyclops 2-pack re-release was the only way I could get that Cyclops, because I'm not going to pay the secondary prices that came with that, from the Toys R Us set that had him. So,
and that's another consideration, and I'm not saying this is the case every time, but Marvel and Star Wars are also frequently refreshing the relevance of their media, whereas Joe kind of isn't. So Marvel may have something going on where all of a sudden Cyclops and Jean Grey are big again. So they want to get other iterations out on the market and have that going. Or Kingpin shows up in Daredevil and they're like, we need a Kingpin figure out there. Like stuff like that probably plays a little role in it as well. Well, do you guys have Joe and Tell?
I do.
I kind of did mine earlier in the show with my bat and my Tiger Force Duke, and since doing an unboxing is not good on the show, I'll just say my Joe and Tell is tuned into the Needless Things YouTube channel for tons of reviews. Oh, and for the shorts, and I'll explain again. Now, every day that there's a review, later in the day, there will be a short version of the review that is a separately recorded piece. It is not it's not part of the review edited down. It is an afterthought type thing. So once I'm done with the full review, I'll record a 3-minute or less kind of overview of things. It's been fun. I've actually enjoyed doing it, and they're getting some views. So that's my Joe and Tell, is go take a look at the Needless Things YouTube channel and the reviews there. So Noel, what do you got for us?
All right. So is we've talked about many times on our show, for our 3 3/4-inch figures, we love our smalljoes.com battle stands or figure stands, whatever you want to call them. I prefer the clear ones, of course. And here's my HISP tank driver, or one of them sitting on one.
With a lot of emblem left on him, really.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of the ones that was kind of in the middle of my army of HISP tank drivers.
Mine is just smooth blue.
Yeah, I've got a few like that. I've got a few that I've picked up that have nice emblems, and they stay up front. Well, and I was very excited to find out that not too long ago, Small Joe's decided to do stands for classified figures, because I've been doing some that I got 3D printed on eBay, and they actually work pretty well, but they're either green or black, and I use the green ones for my Joes and the black ones for the Cobras. But they looked a little big, and so I was like, well, I'll go ahead and buy like the minimum number, which was 25, and just see how they were. And yes, these things are enormous.
Whoa, that's a lot of shelf space.
Yeah, they have 4 pegs on them,
which is cool.
Yeah, but when I'm putting these guys up like this, yes, there's just no way that I could have all my characters like this. They're great stands. I'm using several of them right now for my Indiana Jones figures, because they fit those all right. And I've got a couple of other figures that I've got parked on them elsewhere, but just because my G.I. Joe real estate is a little tight, I have not been using these for those, even though they work very well, and you can do multiple poses with them because of the 4 pegs.
Yeah, I like that design, and I like the fact that they're a hexagon, so like you can sort of push them together.
Yeah, so you can do like that, and you can have them, but it's just
a lot of floor space there.
Yeah, I may wind up if now that we're getting more of the 013s, I'm probably going to kind of separate those out, and I may have like a separate shelf, and I'll be able to space them out more, because that with the vamp and the RAM and figures should be doable on one shelf. But yeah, for everything else. So these are great quality, what you'd expect from the Small Joe stands. But yeah, just warning, if you are interested in them, that you need a little bit of real estate.
Kristian, you want to throw Yorktown's comment back up there?
Yes, Yorktown Joe with a, hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing. And also, YouTube now has a hype button. I don't think it's active while we're live, but if you think of it, after the video is posted, go in and hype us up, because that actually gives YouTube a better feedback for what to push in the algorithm, and it costs you zero to do it.
That's
just
the best
the
kind of
energy
promotion.
to push the button.
Yeah, nice. All right, Kristian, what you got?
All right, so if you guys saw my recent Instagram photo with the Donner Party from Operation Monster Force, you got to see a little bit of this in the background, but I have built my biggest snow diorama.
Whoa.
It's not,
oh my gosh,
it's not quite the Hive from Sectar's size yet, but I am still working on a top piece to go on there as well, because I realized when I got the polar bear and radiation eyes in that I've got lots of jungle dioramas built, but I don't actually have any snow ones, and I needed it badly. So it's been a work in progress, but it's finally to the point, at least where I feel I can start getting some photos. I just need to add some snow to it still. But yeah, that's
awesome. That's great. And that is all the show we've got for you this week. Can you believe it? That's what happens when there's no news.
And yet we got like 45 minutes of news out of that episode.
Yeah, right. Well, we can run our mouths. That's the one thing you can say about Audible Interlude. Our music is by Andy Samford of electricminnowmusic.com. Follow us on Instagram at Audible Interlude Podcast. Join the Audible Army Facebook group. Kristian, where can we find that toy photography you do so well?
You can find me on Instagram and Blue Sky under the name Legion Cub.
And Noel, why don't you tell us a little bit about The Finest?
The Finest is an international G.I. Joe costuming club raising money for a wonderful charity called Canines for Warriors. So check us out at your local convention or go to thefinestcc.com for more details.
Catch us live here on the Needless Things YouTube channel next on November the 24th. Put it on your calendar. And until then, yo, Joe.
Oh.